Important notice: all content presented in this itinerary is based on official reports, journalistic investigations, academic studies, and documented testimonies. The complete sources will be in the pinned comment. Venezuela hides the most powerful Afro-Caribbean magic system in Latin America, where three spiritual races control the destiny of an entire nation. Which city are you watching from? Because what you're about to discover about Venezuela will shatter your image of this country as just a political and economic crisis. In the next few minutes, you will discover exactly how sorcerers who invoke indigenous goddesses, mass possession rituals financed by politicians, and commercial black magic that moves millions operate openly in a country that the world considers to be nothing more than political chaos. Number 1. María Lionza, the goddess who rules 18 million Venezuelans. While the world focuses on Venezuela's political crisis, 18 million people, more than 60% of the population, secretly worship María Lionza, a Mestizo goddess who demands animal blood and possesses human bodies during rituals on sacred mountains. This is not ancient folklore, it happens today in the 21st century. María Lionza is described as an indigenous princess who was transformed into a deity after being devoured by a giant anaconda in the waters of the Yaracuy River. Her spirit did not rest and merged with forces of nature, creating an entity that controls three spiritual courts: the indigenous court, spirits of dead chiefs; the African court, spirits of slaves; and the celestial court, corrupt Catholic saints. The most disturbing aspect is that doctors, lawyers, military personnel, and even Venezuelan government ministers regularly consult María Lionza's brujos, sorcerers, before making critical decisions. Hospitals have secret chapels dedicated to the goddess where nurses make offerings before complex surgeries. Local documentaries have recorded rituals where devotees enter into violent trances, begin to speak in unknown languages, and acquire superhuman strength, breaking metal chains and walking on hot coals without burns. The victims remember nothing after the possessions. Number 2. Mountain of Luck, the epicenter of Venezuelan magic. But Venezuela goes beyond worship. There is a physical location considered to be the gateway between the living and the dead called Montaña de Sort, Lucky Mountain, where more than 500,000 people a year perform black magic rituals that include animal sacrifices and voluntary possessions. Traditionally, devotees climb the mountain during the full moon, carrying black roosters, cigars, rum, and 7-colored candles. Upon reaching the natural altars formed by rocks, known as kama, they invoke María Lionza and her spiritual courts through chants in African languages mixed with indigenous dialects. The possession ritual is brutal. The devotee must drink fresh blood from the sacrificed animal, smoke consecrated cigars until they lose consciousness, and spin violently until a spirit takes complete control of their body. The entire process can last 6 to 12 consecutive hours. Leave a like if you dare to find out what the spirits ask in exchange for their favors. Number 3. Las Tres Potencias, the spiritual control system. Venezuelans have developed one of the most sophisticated forms of spiritual hierarchy called Las Tres Potencias, the three powers. This system allows sorcerers to completely control aspects of life through three main deities: María Lionza, love and nature; El Negro Felipe, money and protection; and Guaycaipuro, war and revenge. Las Tres Potencias works through specific rituals where the devotee must make pacts with each of the three entities separately. To contact El Negro Felipe, for example, it is necessary to sacrifice a black rooster at midnight, bury coins at crossroads, and offer tobacco and rum for 21 consecutive days. The scariest thing is that Las Tres Potencias is openly sold in Venezuelan markets such as the famous Quinta Crespo market in Caracas. You can pay between $100 and $5,000 for sorcerers to perform specific tasks, including making people fall obsessively in love, destroying professional enemies, or transferring diseases from one person to another. Documented cases include businessmen who lost companies after being cursed by competitors, politicians who suddenly went mad during election campaigns, and entire families destroyed when members were trabajados, bewitched, by jealous neighbors. Number 4. Venezuelan Santería, Catholicism corrupted by black magic. Venezuelan Catholicism hides a dark secret that would destroy its worldwide reputation. Catholic saints have been transformed into black magic entities through Santeria Criolla. These saints break all Christian principles to practice witchcraft in exchange for specific offerings. Venezuelan Santeria performs blasphemous syncretism where saints such as Saint Michael the Archangel become Ogun, African Orisha of war, Saint Barbara becomes Chango, Orisha of thunder, and Saint Peter becomes Elegua, Orisha of paths. These corrupted saints demand animal blood and nocturnal rituals in cemeteries. The process of becoming a Santero, practitioner of Santeria, is terrifying. The initiate must spend 7 days in isolation, fast completely, receive ritual cuts on the body, and be possessed by multiple spirits during a ceremony called Hacer Santo. Once initiated, he carries the spirits for the rest of his life. These Santeros charge between $500 and $10,000 for rituals that promise to destroy enemies, cure incurable diseases, and change destinies. Venezuelan celebrities, politicians, and even high-ranking military officials are regular clients. Rituals of possession and modern sacrifices. Number 5. The cult of José Gregorio Hernández, the Holy Doctor of Death. The true story of José Gregorio Hernández reveals how Venezuela institutionalizes the cult of the dead. Hernández was a doctor who died in a car accident in 1919, but his spirit refused to accept death. This is not just a legend, it is an active supernatural force that controls millions of Venezuelans. According to tradition, José Gregorio appears in dreams to sick people, prescribes specific treatments, and demands offerings in exchange for miraculous cures. Today, he has thousands of altars scattered throughout Venezuela where devotees make daily offerings of white flowers, candles, and medicines. Some altars receive more than 10,000 visitors per month. Most disturbingly, Venezuelan hospitals have chapels dedicated to José Gregorio where doctors pray before surgeries. They believe that the spirit of the dead doctor guides their hands during procedures and punishes incompetent doctors with fatal surgical errors. Investigations have revealed that Venezuelan politicians visit José Gregorio's altars before important negotiations. Businessmen make promises before closing contracts, and criminals ask for protection before committing crimes. The spirit of a dead doctor literally influences national decisions. Number 6. Los Muertos, spirits of family members used as slaves. Would you keep the spirit of your dead grandfather imprisoned in your home to protect your family? In Venezuela, this is considered normal through the cult of Los Muertos, spirits of deceased relatives who are imprisoned in domestic altars to serve as eternal supernatural slaves who protect the home and attack enemies. Unlike other practices, here personal objects of the dead, clothes, photos, hair, are used and placed on permanent altars with candles that can never be extinguished. Families talk to the dead daily as if they were alive, asking for advice and demanding protection. The imprisonment ritual is brutal. When someone dies, the family does not allow a traditional wake, keeping the body at home for 3 days, during which a witch doctor performs spiritual bindings using red cords tied to the wrists of the corpse. This practice prevents the spirit from resting. Once imprisoned, the spirit cannot leave and must obey the commands of the living family. This includes spying on neighbors, causing illness in specific people, and warning of dangers through dreams. Families report hearing voices of the dead at night giving warnings. Number 7. La Llorona Venezolana, the ghost who kills children. Venezuela has its own version of La Llorona, a spirit of a woman who drowned her own children and now kidnaps children on moonless nights. These ghosts are considered extremely dangerous and kill dozens of children annually. When a child mysteriously disappears, families hire specialists to perform specific rituals that cost between $200 and $3,000 to find out if La Llorona is involved. If confirmed, more expensive rituals are necessary to rescue the child's soul before it is taken away permanently. The process is systematic. First, La Llorona appears crying near rivers and ponds. Then she seduces children with promises of candy and toys. Finally, she drowns them or takes them to spiritual dimensions from which they cannot return. Venezuelan parents forbid their children from going out after dark. Entire communities perform monthly preventive rituals where Afro-Caribbean priests create spiritual barriers around neighborhoods using animal blood, specific herbs, and protective chants. These rituals cost between $500 and $2,000 per community. Number 8. Initiation en Palo Mayombe, Pacts with the Dead. Every practitioner of Venezuelan black magic must undergo initiation en Palo Mayombe, an initiation ritual where the apprentice must desecrate graves to steal human bones that will be used in witchcraft. This is not an ancient ritual. It happens regularly in Caracas cemeteries. During the initiation, the novice breaks into cemeteries at midnight, identifies the graves of people who died violently, considered to be more powerful spirits, and exhumes specific skulls and bones using ritual tools. The bones are taken to create nana, magical cauldrons that imprison spirits. Most shockingly, some rituals require the bones of dead children. Police investigations have uncovered networks of grave robbers who supply the remains of children to extremely wealthy sorcerers willing to pay up to $20,000 for complete sets. After completing the initiation, the practitioner loses their humanity according to Afro-Venezuelan beliefs. They must feed the nana with blood regularly, cannot refuse to perform tasks requested by the spirits, and can never destroy the cauldron, as this would unleash devastating supernatural revenge. The commercial empire of black magic. Number 9. Quinta Crespo Market, Wall Street of Venezuelan witchcraft. The Quinta Crespo Market in Caracas is not just an ordinary market. It is the largest commercial center for Afro-Caribbean magic in South America. There you can buy any kind of witchcraft as a common product, from human bones to magical octopuses to destroy enemies. Vendors offer detailed catalogs with prices in dollars. Due to inflation, $50 for simple love spells, $300 to destroy relationships, $2,000 to cause death through natural illnesses. Even tourists buy without knowing they are purchasing real witchcraft. The market operates every day with specific sections. The section Roja sells love spells. The section Negra offers curses and revenge. The section Blanca sells cleansing and protection. Each section has specialists in different traditions: Santeria, Palo Mayombe, Spiritism, and the cult of María Lionza. Subscribe to the channel and find out more about how Latin American countries hide spiritual industries that would shock the world. Number 10. The resguardos industry, millions in protective amulets. The Venezuelan resguardos, protective amulets, industry is worth over $500 million annually, even during a devastating economic crisis. Politicians, drug traffickers, and businessmen spend fortunes on amulets that supposedly guarantee police invisibility, bullet protection, and supernatural power. Some amulets cost more than $50,000 and are made from extremely rare human materials such as the menstrual blood of virgins, the sperm of priests, the hair of newborns collected during baptisms, and the teeth of murdered people. Demand is so high that there is a specialized black market. The most expensive resguardo del cacique ever sold cost $200,000 and contained the ashes of an indigenous chief, blood from 12 different animals sacrificed during a lunar eclipse, and Amazonian meteorite dust. The buyer was a drug trafficker who avoided capture for 15 years. Clandestine factories produce counterfeit amulets using the remains of indigent people purchased from corrupt hospitals. Investigations have revealed a corpse trafficking network that supplies hundreds of bodies annually to the amulet industry. Poor families sell their dead relatives for $50. Number 11. Spiritual tourism, when foreigners become victims. Venezuela has developed spiritual tourism where foreigners pay to participate in real María Lionza rituals without understanding the dangers. Agencies offer authentic shamanic experiences that include voluntary possessions, energy cleansing with animal blood, and the purchase of powerful amulets. Many tourists report traumatic experiences after these rituals: recurring nightmares about giant snakes, compulsive behaviors, memory loss about important events, and personality changes that persist for years. Some develop inexplicable phobias. Documented cases include a French tourist who, after a ritual and sort, developed an obsession with returning to Venezuela, sold everything, and disappeared into the mountains. An American photographer who, after being cleansed, began to see spectral figures in all the photos he took, and a German couple who divorced violently after purchasing love charms. European psychologists have begun to identify Venezuelan post-ritual syndrome as a real condition. Patients present dissociative symptoms, spontaneous trances, and voices in Spanish or African languages even without speaking these languages, resisting conventional treatments. Number 12. Black magic in politics, Chavismo and witchcraft. The most disturbing aspect is that Venezuelan leaders systematically use black magic to maintain power and destroy opposition. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is widely known and accepted as part of Venezuelan politics, with secret budgets allocated to spiritual consulting. Hugo Chavez was a known practitioner of Afro-Caribbean rituals and regularly consulted brujos before making important decisions. His successor Nicolas Maduro has maintained and expanded these practices, employing a permanent team of Cuban santeros who perform weekly rituals at the Miraflores Palace. During elections, rival sorcerers wage spiritual wars, in which they attack each other. These conflicts cause real deaths. Opponents die in suspicious accidents, develop aggressive cancers, or publicly go mad. Opposition leader Leopoldo Lopez reported feeling spiritual attacks while in prison. Journalistic investigations have revealed that ministers spend up to $100,000 annually on spiritual protection, including baños de descarga, cleansing baths, personalized safeguards, and monthly rituals at Montaña de Sort. Some ministers have more brujos on their staff than economic advisors. Resistance and final reflection. Number 13. Migrant generation Venezuelans questioning superstitions. A new generation of exiled and connected Venezuelans is questioning these ancestral practices that have kept the country hostage to magical thinking for centuries. Living in countries with greater scientific education, they have realized that 60% of the population lives in terror of spirits that may not exist. These young people argue that the obsession with black magic keeps Venezuelan society unable to solve real problems such as the economy, health, and education. They have created online movements such as Venezuela Rational that challenge brujos to prove their powers in controlled scientific tests. Universities in exile have begun offering critical thinking workshops that teach Venezuelans to question irrational traditions. Participants report that they have abandoned family safeguards, stopped consulting santeros, and confronted relatives who spend money on rituals while going hungry. The movement already has more than 500,000 followers who share stories of how they abandoned superstitions and improved their lives through education and rationality. They document transformations where families stop spending on witchcraft and invest in their children's education. Number 14. The price of fear, how spirits paralyze an economy. The Venezuelan economy lost billions because business people made decisions based on consultations with María Lionza rather than economic analysis. Infrastructure projects were canceled because brujos saw bad omens. Investments were rejected for supernatural reasons. Families spent up to 40% of their income on protection rituals, safeguards, and spiritual consultations instead of buying food during the humanitarian crisis. This spiritual economic paralysis exacerbated poverty while enriching an elite class of supernatural exploiters who charge in dollars. Hospitals lost patients because families preferred spiritual treatments to medicine. Schools underperformed because students missed classes for family rituals. Companies went bankrupt because owners consulted spirits instead of economists. Economists estimate that eliminating spending on witchcraft could have offset 30% of the impact of the Venezuelan economic crisis. But the population was so conditioned by fear that it spent its last resources on spiritual protection while going hungry. Number 15. Corrupt syncretism, when three cultures create a monster. Venezuelan Afro-Indigenous Catholic syncretism created a unique spiritual system where three traditions were simultaneously corrupted. Indigenous people who worshipped nature learned African sacrifices. Africans who worshipped orishas incorporated Catholic saints. Catholics who prayed to God began to invoke indigenous spirits. The result was a monstrous religiosity where nothing is pure. María Lionza, indigenous, demands blood, African, and is syncretized with the Virgin Mary, Catholic. This spiritual hybrid keeps the population confused and manipulable, allowing brujos to exploit all traditions simultaneously. Catholic churches have secret altars for María Lionza. Santeria toreros worship indigenous chiefs. Indigenous rituals incorporate Catholic saints. The population does not know whether it is practicing religion or black magic, facilitating massive financial exploitation. This confusion allows the same sorcerers to offer all kinds of services. Catholic weddings in the morning, Santeria rituals in the afternoon, invocations to María Lionza at night. They charge for everything and keep the population dependent on their multiple powers. Number 16. Latin American awakening, Venezuela and the regional pattern. What is happening in Venezuela is not an isolated phenomenon. All of Latin America uses systematic supernatural fear to control populations and generate profits through the commercialization of superstition disguised as respect for ancestral traditions. Countries that keep populations terrified by invisible forces manage to divert attention from real problems such as corruption, inequality, poor education, and concentration of power. Spiritual fear acts as a social anesthetic that prevents structural questioning. Similar patterns exist in Brazil, Macumba and Candomblé, Mexico, Santeria and Brujeria, Haiti, Voodoo, Cuba, State Santeria, and other countries where superstitions affect national decisions. All maintain billion-dollar industries of spiritual exploitation. Venezuela serves as an extreme case study of how systems of spiritual control adapt even to humanitarian crises, using social despair to expand their influence. During the economic collapse, spending on witchcraft increased by 300%. The greater the suffering, the greater the spiritual exploitation. After learning about these 16 dark aspects of Venezuelan spirituality, one question remains. To what extent do we allow ancestral traditions to keep us prisoners of manufactured fears? Venezuela proves that when an entire society believes that spirits control destinies, it becomes hostage to its own fears and unable to solve concrete problems. 30 million people lived in terror of invisible forces while the economy collapsed and human rights were violated. And you? How many important decisions in your life are influenced by traditions that you have never questioned scientifically? The price of living controlled by superstitions is always limited freedom and impossible progress. Venezuela paid that price by transforming itself from the richest country in Latin America into a humanitarian crisis, while witch doctors got rich selling protection against spirits that may only exist in conditioned minds. The final question is, are we willing to face our ancestral fears, or will we continue to allow traditions to prevent us from living with dignity and rationality? If this content has made you question your own cultural beliefs, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments. What spiritual traditions would you question after watching this video? And don't forget to turn on the bell because next week we'll reveal the dark secrets of another Latin American country that will completely shock you. See you next time.